Evening and welcome to Homo Politicos. You're watching Enterprise Television. Big political story from the southwestern part of Nigeria. Osun State Governor Ademola Adeleke has resigned his membership of the People's Democratic Party, a move that dramatically reshapes the build-up to the 2026 governorship race in Osun State. Governor Adeleke's resignation follows months of turmoil within the People's Democratic Party at the national level. His camp says the persistent leadership crisis and factional battles left him no choice but to step away from the party he once served under. His statements confirmed he submitted a resignation letter in November, precisely November 4, 2025. The decision raises immediate questions about the Osun State ticket, the fate of the People's Democratic Party structures in the state, and whether Governor Ademola Adeleke will seek re-election. I think there's no doubt about that, but I mean, it puts things in further perspective now. Well, will he seek re-election on another platform? Reports suggest he may signal a fresh party alignment before mid-December. In fact, precisely mid-December. We hear from several sources that it could be December 13 when this will be decided. Well, we'll say a warm welcome to Homo Politicos one more time, and thank you so much for being there. I'm joined now virtually by political commentator Nujimi, as we look to break down the stories, look at the implications of such resignation from a political party or a ruling political party at the state level, and now an incumbent seeking re-election. Jimmy, many thanks for joining me today.
Thanks for having me as always.
Appreciate your joining the conversation. Let's get straight down to the story. Well, what's your take? How did you receive the news of the Adeleke's resignation from the party? For some persons, this is not shocking. As a matter of fact, there were speculations months ago when President Tinubu visited Lagos. If you recall, he had met the president alongside his brother and father of the famous musician Davido. And there were talks at the time that he was, that meeting was, some meeting to cement his plans to move to the All Progressives Congress. Well, days later, there were several talks from the camp of the party, that's the All Progressives Congress at the state level, that's Osun State level, saying they don't want him there. He too, at some point, from his camp, we heard statements like, oh, since they don't want them there, they're not going to go there. So, but how did you receive this news?
I would say I wasn't shocked that this resignation. Remember that the Ibadan convention, he wasn't even there as well. So, I mean, that just showed you, that's an indication of how far the party has gone in terms of, the crisis that has overwhelmed them so far. So I wasn't shocked. I even thought he would have resigned a long time ago. Probably he was just trying to weigh his option. As you mentioned, we all thought that he was going to defect to the APC, had that meeting with the president, to the point that even the Osun State PDP, his government, they all declared the support for the president for 2027 election. So lo and behold, of course, he doesn't have a good relationship with Seyi Makinde at this point, and therefore he wasn't at that convention. If he was at that convention, we probably would have that would have served as probably an endorsement of the PDP National Working Committee, and of course his readiness to still contest on the platform of the PDP in Osun State. But he'll be shopping for a new party, I speak, and we don't know where he will go. He can't go to ADC. There were reports that Rauf Aregbesola was trying behind the scene to see if he could bring him to the platform, but there were protests and, of course, wrangling from some loyalists, in the ADC who had joined and who were loyal to Rauf Aregbesola, concerning that they were also eyeing the ticket as well. and I think he had abandoned that as well. Well, that's just the rumor that emerged from that whatever happened, concerning Aregbesola intent on bringing in, Adeleke on board. So for me, well, it just goes to show how divided and how terrible the PDP is as a party, not just state level, but generally as well. The Osun State issue.
Jimmy, you there? Network connection, I suppose, for the moment there. That reconnection we'll try to make happen so that we can have Jimmy conclude his thoughts. But he's just mentioned quite a few things. I don't think that at this point that the governor is shopping for a new party. I'd like to think that he's done the shopping already. What the world should wait for would be the announcement, and what his party loyalists and indeed his supporters in the state would be waiting for would be his announcement. Where exactly would go to, I'm not sure at the moment. There are speculations, and would have that conversation with Jimmy as we try to reconnect with Jimmy. But yes, this is Homo Politicus. We're talking the resignation of the Osun State Governor Ademola Adeleke. Jimmy, many thanks for reconnecting. Let's you were saying, and I was trying to just probe further your thoughts that he would be shopping for a new party. I suppose before the politician leaves his home, his comfort zone, even though that has not been comfortable for the governor this past few months, that he would have sorted that already, his destination, that would be sorted, and they would just be planning the announcement. What do you think?
Well, he tried to sort that out by reaching out to the APC. You mentioned it earlier in your intro that he had that arrangement or agreement with the president to defect to the APC, but that didn't transpire because the APC in Osun State, which is also in crisis already, one way or the other, rejected him as well. Their statement was that he was a liability and all the rest. But we know why anyway, there were reasons, political reasons why they decided not to go with Adeleke. So I think that truncated.
What are these political reasons?
Well, political reasons for the fact that they have their own candidates. There were many also eyeing the position, the likes of Omishore and the rest. And if he had defected, if his defection was successful, many of them won't be talking about running as we speak. So of course they didn't want that to impede their own ambition. And if he had defected, I think the crisis in the APC would have been worse than before. So I think that actually derailed his plan. His initial plan to have a platform, ahead of the election. So he's left with little choice. He can't. He has left the PDP. He can't be with the APC or the ADC, which are the new boys in town. But what other parties are left? There are talks about him joining the Accord Party. I don't know how that is, but I think in the coming days we'll probably get more updates, or better, we'll get an idea of when
December 13 has been announced from some sources that he's going to be making the announcement then. But what does this mean, though, for the People's Democratic Party? We've seen several resignations, to step further for some governors already defecting outrightly to another party. We've seen, it started with Delta State, right? Proceeded to Akwa Ibom, and then Enugu State. There was Bayelsa, Taraba. We're here. It's just waiting an announcement. I suppose the resurgence of the insurgency has caused some delays. But what does this mean for the PDP? They are losing more hands. They are losing more heavyweight. And for the next election, which happens in Osun State, it looks like they'll be left, without candidates? Maybe they could rally around, by the way.
No, they have actually picked a candidate. I'm trying to recall his first name, but he's something Adebayo, this afternoon. They've actually, have gotten a candidate. But the thing is that you have to ask. Number one, I listened to an interview this afternoon of the Speaker of the Osun State, State of Assembly, talking about, I think, Adewale. He was complaining, or he was outrightly calling out Seyi Makinde and saying that the primary that was held today is null and void because, number one, they haven't had any, the wards and local government of PDP there was no election to elect delegates to the primary. So how come they had over 900 delegates who, voted in the new candidate for the PDP? So again, you ask, was INEC present there? Well, did INEC endorse it? There were claims that INEC were there, but till now, there hasn't been any credible confirmation that happened. It looks like, they plan to go ahead with the primaries. The governor, who was supposed to be the candidate to get the ticket easily, has resigned, and somebody else has gotten the ticket, So, but these are the questions you have to ask concerning, the Osun PDP. If what transpired today will be legally recognized, I guess that in the coming days we'll hear about a lot of court cases here and there, But on the other side, while they're having all of this, you have to ask the question: how popular is PDP? It's Adeleke, the governor, based on the fact of his popularity as someone who is son of the soil, as someone who's, you can't even take away the fact that Davido, being his nephew, also contributed to why he's popular in Osun State, and of course, his governance style for the past 2 years or thereabout that he has been in government, are they satisfied? So those are the kind of things you have to look at. So now it's either they voted Adeleke based on his popularity and based on the fact that they like his family, or they voted because of the fact that he contested on the platform of the PDP. So that would be what would be. So I don't know how popular PDP is in Osun State. At the time, they lost the election, and of course, we saw how the APC came in. In fact, Aregbesola governed for 8 years before we had Olola. What's his name? The current Minister of Marine and Economy.
Yeah. Oyetola.
Oyetola, thank you very much. Oyetola came in, did his 4 years before Adeleke. In fact, the Adeleke were even APC members before. The late Isiaka Adeleke, who happened to be a governor as well, he was a senator under the APC until, of course, the tragic assassination that happened. So what I'm saying is that you have to look at how popular is the PDP before they start making their own move. Now that they have a candidate, who is he? Is he someone who's well grounded in local politics? I don't think so. What exactly is he bringing to the table, or was he just speak because they had no other option? Those are the kind of things you have to, the questions you ask. And of course, if Adeleke feels so much, popular, if he feels that he can actually ride the tide, and whatever platform he picks to contest, he will return as the governor, well, time will tell.
Does this mean, for the election, right? Come 2026, I mean, the African Democratic Congress seem to have, they seem to be building momentum, right, with the presence of the former governor and former minister, Rauf Aregbesola. What does that mean? The All Progressives Congress seem to be coordinated, seem to know who's going to take the ticket, and the PDP now, they've done that. That is, kind of, if you like, as you've mentioned, controversial, and we're yet to see what happens in the coming days. But then, what does this mean really for the election come 2026? Do you think that were going to have a very difficult race. By the way, you did mention too that his brother, Isiaka Adeleke, was assassinated. Well, what the reports have is that he died, and there are rumors that this was politically motivated.
Yeah, of course. I have to correct myself there. Really, there was allegations of him being
killed. There's some rumors have it, again, unconfirmed rumors, unconfirmed reports that this was politically motivated, that he was killed. In fact, some rumors for that say that he was deliberately poisoned. But again, we don't know that for a fact. Those just rumors. That said, again, back to the main focus. What exactly does this mean for the re-election bid of the incumbent governor? Not many times do we see such heavy contestants, come against an incumbent. Usually maybe one against the incumbents. This time we're seeing more than one heavyweight from the African Democratic Congress, also a battle from the All Progressives Congress.
Well, in all of this, Adeleke still has the advantage. He's the incumbent. He's the current governor. Rauf Aregbesola will not be on the ballot. Yeah, he has a lot of supporters, but whoever picks the ticket of the ADC, are we guaranteed that he's going to be someone with such popularity? I don't think so. I don't know, but we'll wait to see what will happen there. Same goes for the All Progressive Congress. They also have a bit of advantage over the ADC because, of course, nationally, they are the governing party. They once also governed in Osun State. They still have their structure, even though they also have a bit of crisis in the party state level, talking about the Osun State, So, but in all of this, you still have to give it to Adeleke. The ball is still in his court. And you know how it is in Nigeria. It's very difficult for an incumbent to lose an election, whether it's the presidential or, state level. Yeah, we've had a bit of, we have blips in the past, but how many of them, especially when it concerns a governor like Adeleke, who most will see has a very strong backing, and the family names also, is something that a lot of people can are very familiar with. So whatever candidate comes in, really we would love to look at the, the PDP. The PDP has already picked their own candidate. Some will say it's not really a household name. We're waiting for the ADC and, of course, the PDP, the APC to also have their primaries, and let's see who can contest against him. It may be a tough, but
yes, I was going to say, pardon me, that in Adeleke's case, the part of incumbency, might be there, but there is the extra part of incumbency from the federal level. I know what happens politically with federal might, as they've said in the past. This is not to say that we know categorically that the presidency interferes in state elections, but we know that politically some of these things, could come to play. What do you say?
Of course, that's what I said earlier on, that, of course, the PDP had, the APC had a bit of edge. And, of course, the president, recalled that the last election, he lost Osun State, and that was something was concerning for a lot of people, that he lost Osun State, he lost Lagos State. So I think he will keep an eye on the 2026 election coming up in Osun State. That will also be very important to his re-election bid in 2027. So, whatever it is, he would also want a situation that whoever becomes the governor in that state will, one way or the other, be his ally, let me put it that way. I don't think the PDP will be interested in that. I don't think the ADC will be interested in that. But Adeleke, I don't think, because Adeleke, from reports, they are not faulting the president for the APC or Osun State rejecting him. They know the whole politics of it, and the president had to back off because of all of that, So the respect is still there, So whatever party he wins, probably whatever alliance they have might still be going on concerning on how to support the president in 2027. If it's the Accord Party, that would be quite well for him. And who knows? He wins on the Accord Party a year later, or barely even before the 2027 election. He might defect to that same APC because he's the governor. Then who knows what will happen by then? That if he wins the election, in 2026, we never can tell. That's how politics in Nigeria is being played. So in all, he has the advantage than any other person. But of course, based on the fact that the APC, the ruling party, the president will be interested in the 2027, the election coming up in Osun State,
2026,
in order to boost his chances of his re-election ambition.
Yeah, I was just going to mention that and get your comment as we close regarding that, because that would be, another election before the general election, which, by the way, the National Assembly is contemplating to move to November, December 2026. And political parties who want to have a good show, a good outing in Osun State, so as to test the ground, so as to brag about the figures that they got before the general election, the next general election. We keep saying 2027, yes, but we'll see how things go. So that said, let's talk about what this means for the not necessarily what this means, but I mean the task before the Independent National Electoral Commission. As you mentioned, there could be something controversial about the People's Democratic Party and the primaries. There could be court cases. The destruction that would mean for the Independent National Electoral Commission. And what do you have to say to the new chairman? The professor, the senior advocate of Nigeria, Joash Amupiton, as regards this Osun State elections and the drama that we started seeing?
It's no different. He's a new chairman, but other chairmen, Yakubu and of course Jega, had faced similar situation in Nigeria during their own tenure as INEC chairman. So it's no different. But I think what can stand him out is to immediately let's have a pronouncement. Does INEC endorse what happened in Osun State today or not? Were they on ground? Because if they are on ground, that's also a bit of edge for the PDP, Osun State PDP, because going to court, they will actually say INEC was there, and of course it was endorsed. They approved it, But if INEC wasn't there, I think Amokuton, the INEC chairman, should immediately make a statement. They should immediately inform Nigerians that this is what is on ground, because going forward without doing that, cases will come up, and at the same time, INEC once again will be blamed for contributing to some of what will happen at the end of the day. Because if whatever case they have on court, whatever it is, at the end of the day, it will definitely get to the Supreme Court, and we don't know what will happen. If the Supreme Court says it is null and void, that means they don't have a candidate. So whatever it is, whatever courts, whatever legal matters should start up immediately as we speak. But for INEC, there's little the INEC can do concerning the division in the parties. They can't actually do anything other than that. But for their primaries that was held today, we would like to know if INEC endorsed it. The Ibadan convention, as we speak, there are still those who said INEC was there, others say INEC wasn't there. We don't know the true position, So,
but for that, I suppose the law is clear, though, Jimmy, on that. Yes, what the law provides, what the electoral law provides is that, yes, the Independent National Electoral Commission needs to be notified. They need to be given due notice, I think 21 days notice, but it's not compulsory that they be there to monitor the process. I mean, that's not on the political party. If the commission decides not to be there, you can't hold the political party for that.
It's not mandatory that they should be there, but one way, if, there are two factions in PDP as we speak, The first one has had their convention 2 weeks ago, if the second one, led by Wike and the rest, have their own comment, will INEC also endorse that? Say, okay, let's give it to that. So that would be a lot of confusion. So I want a case that the new INEC chairman, Professor Amukuton, should actually clarify the position of INEC in these cases. Let's know, do they avoid it because there's already court cases? There's already legal matters suggesting that. I mean, as I mentioned earlier on, the Speaker of the Osun State Assembly said there was no ward or local government election to pick delegates. So who are those who appeared as delegates at the convention, at the primaries today? So those are the questions you have to ask. Now, the same thing is happening at the national level of the PDP, And while it's not mandatory for INEC to be there, but their endorsement means so much because in court, that issue will also come up about INEC. Did you, you had 21 days, did you approve it? Were your men on, they were supposed to be on ground, let's be honest ourselves. INEC officials are supposed to be on ground in such things in order to observe such primaries. And at the end of the day, we'll come to it to say, yes, we were there, we observed the proceeding, and of course, we endorse it. That's even though it's not mandatory. But again, while it's not the main issue when it comes to legal, when it goes to court, because definitely this issue will go to court, it is also a contributing one as well.
Alrighty then, well, let's leave things there. We've been talking about the, the gubernatorial election happening in Osun State come 2026. Well, drama from the state as the governor, the incumbent governor, Ademola Adeleke, has now resigned his membership of the People's Democratic Party. His next destination, we don't know, but he's left the umbrella party. Will it be moving towards the direction of the incumbent president? That's the All Progressives Congress or the African Democratic Congress. Will it be the Accord Party? Will it be the Labour Party? There's several other parties. There's the Young Progressive Party. There's several parties available to the governor. But December 13 is the reports, is the date we hear, according to reports, that he could make that announcement. We continue to monitor the development from the state and indeed across the country and bring those your way here. No more politicals. In the meantime, I'd like to thank you so much, political commentator Jimmy, for joining me today.
Thank you for always having me.
Appreciate that. Well, that's Homo Political. Stop by the comment section. Let me know what you think and what you think this means for the next election, the next Gubat election. Osun State, as mentioned, and the promise is to keep monitoring this development and bring them your way. I'll be reading your comments. We'll be responding to as you comment. So hey, stop by there. Let's get talking. All right, the conversation continues right there in the comment section. Kingsley, that is my name. We say, may God continue to bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Bye for now.